All right. Welcome to this video. You got me, Cheechako, and Dan of All Trades here. What's happening, Dan?
What's up? What's up? Stoked to go over this neat little strategy with you. It'll be
Yeah,
super
right.
fun.
So I created a strategy. Well, I created a strategy called the ORB. That makes no sense. I didn't create the ORB. Okay, but we created a training program using the ORB that was designed to help traders focus on their psychology, being able to kind of like break themselves down to bare bones trader to see what's really going on, right? And this is something that has just made a big difference in a lot of traders that have actually attempted this challenge, and it has helped them identify things that they struggle with. And so we want to go over that with you, and we want to share Dan of All Trades' first 50 orb trades that he's done, and we're going to go over those results. So man, I'm going to hand it over to you, bro. How was those first
Awesome.
50 trades?
Well, it's not the most encouraging strategy in the world to start out, because again, we as humans we expect linear progress, right? We really, even though we know it doesn't make sense as a trader, like we kind of want it, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, so it's very interesting. It's extremely good at controlling your risk. And I think that that's what I really have learned as going through this. But the strategy is pretty simple. We can hop over and I show you here's how it went, right? I
Right.
was kind of hovering around break even for a while, and then I slowly started to I went through a winning streak. And then the neat thing is actually see these dips. These are all losing streaks, right? So one, two, three, four. There's four dips on the chart, and I started out in a losing streak. So five losing streaks. And I did not lose the account, not even
Right.
close, right? I'm shooting for like a 1 to 3, and the goal of the strategy, I mean, what it does, it just catches displacement out of New York Open, right? And so if you're doing a 1 to 3 or higher, you're trailing it. But of course, right now we're doing the 50 orb challenge was I take profit at 3R, right? So I was
Right.
risking 150 and taking 450, and that's it.
Yep, I
And
remember a few of those hitting because we did this live together in the Discord, and a few of those were like 2.7, 2.9, and then because of the trading and the way that the training program is written, we allowed them to turn back on us, which was
yeah,
not an easy thing to do.
pretty sure one was like 2.95 or something. I just like the wick didn't quite
Yeah.
take the profit and it came back to my stop. I was like, "Oh my gosh." But it seems silly when you look at it like that because most people when they come to trading, they're thinking, "All right, how can I make money quickly? I'm only interested in making money. I'm only interested in being successful on this trade right now, today,
Right.
period." Right? And so they're not thinking of the big picture because the big picture is actually how you behave over the years that you're going to be trading, right? That's what's going to make you money. It's not really about your wins today because it's a probability game. You're not in control of your wins today. And that's a hard thing to understand. And that's what this strategy teaches you that you're not in control of your wins today. You're playing a probability game, right?
Right.
And and so when you're risking 1/3 of what you're making, the account will grow steadily, provided that we are limiting our risk to in our circumstance and our risk in our time that we're in the market, right? So
Right.
there's three dimensions to risk that this helps address if you let it. Again, if you let it address those things, you need to understand that
Yes.
we're managing risk in three dimensions. We're exposing ourselves to one specific trading model always. We're trading through a
Mm-hmm.
specific time frame every day only. After New York Open, I'm trading the New York session, and through this 50 trade challenge, I was only trading to 11:30. And then, of course, if it was still running, you just leave it on the chart, see what happened, right? And then the third element of risk is of course the actual monetary risk. I was risking 150 and taking profit at 450. And that's it. So looking over if we're looking down here a little bit, you can see the average winning trade is about 3 times my losing trade, right? And the win rate is 32%, which is not a super flashy win rate, but it gets the job done. You have gradual growth. And the cool thing is, Once you're able to make a certain amount, you can then begin risking more once you hit another ceiling. But let's see kind of how this works, just to go over it really quick, right? So here's our 5 minute candle on the 930. And I just go ahead and mark the top and bottom. And this is a really basic orb strategy. This is around, people use this. And all I'm doing is looking on the 1 minute for a fair value gap. And so I would say, hey, I was waiting around, didn't really get anything good over here. This is the part of the market open candle, so that doesn't
Right.
work. So all of a sudden we're like, okay, we're trading. Here's candle one, here's candle two. So we got a fair value gap. And then here's candle three. It closes above. And as soon as our candle four prints, I went into this orb, right? Somewhere in here. Came up, looking pretty good, about 1 to 1. Came back down and took our stop, right? And then here's another situation. We came down, consolidated a little bit. All right, candle one, candle two, and there's our fair value gap. It's not big, but it's there. And candle three prints above our range. Soon as candle four print, I went into the orb right here at the bottom. I waited for a little retracement. Looked like we were going to take off and then came back through and hit the stop. So that's how the orb works. And here's a short example, right? This is actually live happening right now. So what I was trading. Actually, oh my goodness. Hey, look at this, guys. This is great.
Yeah, right?
Candle one. This isn't, yeah, candle one, candle two, candle three, candle four print. So we're actually going to go ahead and go in an orb. This is perfect. Look at that. So I'm on 65 risk. So ideally I want my risk to be 150 every time. I will add that. I'm going to go 130. If I add another one, I'm going to be over. So this is how I managed this trade, right? Try to make sure you want to keep your risk as consistent as possible. And you certainly want to be very careful not to go over, right? And this is a perfect live example. All right, so now we got our candle one, candle two, or fair value gap, candle three, and our candle four has printed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. Now, actually, hold on. Yes. Yeah, there we go. And we are above the range, so we are all set to take this orb. And my stop will go behind candle one. And then you just let it ride. I'm shooting for a 1 to 3, right? So 390. Pretty easy to do that math on that. 399, right? And times three of that. I could even use one of these fancy guys. But yeah, there we go. And that is how the orb works. And that's all we're doing. So the neat thing is it's a really simple model. It's exposing us just to like one dimension of risk here. And as you can see, the account balance is gradually growing. And that's the thing. It's very gradual. It allows you to play the probability game. And you go through a winning streak. It's amazing because we were talking about this, right? Right, Cheechako? It's like, you go through a losing streak, maybe 6 to 10 trades, and you're like, dang, that's kind of rough. It feels rough after a couple days, of course, right? And then you get a losing streak of like 3 trades, a winning streak, I should say, of 3 trades, and you're like, oh, I'm up on the account,
Yeah.
and that's the power of proper risk management. You're not in it to win at every trade, and not every trade isn't the trade of your career. Every day isn't the trading day of your life. You're just trading the strategy, managing risk the same way through the same time frame every time. And that's the
Yes.
the trade orb challenge is built to help you understand how to play this game properly, how to manage your own behaviors.
Yes, that's what I was trying to convince a lot of people, and the reason why I dug into. So I do trade like liquidity zones, like previous day high, low, Asia, London, high and low, right? But there is so much discretion in that trading strategy that when I was trying to teach new people or coach people, it was like, okay, so here's a strategy that I want you to, with, not being experienced, inject all of this intuition and discretion into this trading strategy. And then, like, I even found for myself too that when I was like stressed out or distracted or whatever, right? Like, when I wasn't identifying what game I was playing at, and what I mean by that is like an A game, B game, or C game. A being your best, B meaning mediocre with some mistakes, and then C means your FOMO, revenge, blowing accounts, right? And so your game depends so much and it plays so much into your discretion and intuition that that's what I realized most people were struggling with. So I'm like, okay, so if I'm going to create a program that trains people, including myself, right, including you and other coaches that we have, how can we train ourselves better? And so we came up with this bare bones strategy that says enter here, only trade this at this time, and this is your only confluence, make it or break it. That's it. And allow the trades to play out completely. The first 50 trades, I challenge everyone to do it as pure as possible, which, you've done a fantastic job of that. And you've shared with me, like, in doing that, it allowed you to see the things that you struggled with, right?
Yeah.
It
Oh
allowed you
man.
to, yeah, like the FOMO and the fear of missing, right? Like for me, it was the fear of being wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I have this like trading ego and I don't know what it's about. Like I don't really, I mean, you've known me personally for like decades and I'm not a very egotistical person. But when it comes to trading, I just don't know if it's the amount of hard work I've put into it, the amount of money I've spent on education, and like the personal development that I have invested, but it's like I almost get offended when I'm wrong. And I'm like, I need to get that out of me. Like that is something that I need to train out of me. And in doing this, well, and I built this because of the mentors that I had been under. They had like little challenges here and there like this. And then I took all of that and combined it into the 50 Trade Orb Challenge. And what we found is that it actually has the potential of being profitable at a mechanical level. Now, we're going to talk about it in another video, but you have the experience too of continuing on with um, this orb challenge into the next 50, you could say, into stage 2 and making adjustments. But we'll go over that later. But what do you think was the most profound thing that you doing this pure? What had the most impact? Like what was impacted the most?
I it just hit me one day that you hear it said so much, but what it impacted, it changed my behavior completely. Because I was working so hard to overmanage my trades to try to make everything work out every day, right? And what really hit me was that I am playing a probability game. I realized looking back over my risk and over the reward over time that this is a probability game that's played over a longer period of time. The day or the week has almost nothing to do with your ultimate result, right? You could have a awful 3 weeks and where you get stopped out 90% of the time, and you could have 1 week where you end up getting like 8 trades in a row win, and all of a sudden you've made like thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
There's a huge you're just playing a probability game. It just changed my perspective completely. um and it enabled me to understand how to manage risk on all 3 dimensions. I wasn't managing risk on any of those dimensions. I mean, I would keep my risk on an average, and I had some contract amount that I would generally trade, and then the risk like varied from 200 to 600, and it was just a mess,
Yeah.
and because I was trying to control the outcome. Yeah, what really changed is that it stopped me trying to control the outcome, because you can't. And you feel like you can, because some days you get away with just amazing things, like sometimes it seems like you're just a winner, and your scalp like 30 contracts, and you rake in $3,000 in a couple seconds, and you're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
But you don't. Yeah. Not speaking to you, but to
No, no,
myself,
no, you are.
what I had to tell myself is I don't know, because it's not about knowing, it's not about being right, it's not about being a winner. It's about playing a probability game in the way that aligns with the way that reality works, right? And I mean, it just really opened my eyes to that, and it's changed the game for me. Like, I can now trade consistently every day, no worries, trying to control the outcome. I'll try to manage and get a better risk position. Sometimes I'll leave a little bit of leeway, which sometimes you have to, like, and but other than trying to maintain better risk, That's what I spend my thought process on, just managing risk better. That's it. And it's very, very, very light on your mind. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That's amazing. Yeah, and for me it was that, you know, like you're saying, not having to be in control and the
Yeah.
whole prediction game, right? The whole like I've learned enough about this market and candle patterns and this and PTO charts and CVD and indicators and this data, that data and liquidity that I know what's going to happen, right? And then of course we realize we don't know what's going to happen. And once we're comfortable with that and we know we're playing a probabilities game, like all the professional books that I read about, day trading, right, and trading, is that it really is a strict probabilities game, and those who are successful learn how to play the game. They they don't learn. Of course, you have to know enough, right, to, operate a strategy to do well. But I think that's why a lot of people go through winning streaks in the very beginning because they don't know too much yet, right? And so
Right.
they don't have that. They're almost like, oh, let me just put on a trade, see what happens. And then they do well. And then they're like, wow, if I can do well, not knowing, the more I learn, the more I'm going to make. And, it takes you down this whole, in my opinion, rabbit trail that just takes you away from profitability. But when you were talking about the losing streaks, I did like a 188 trade back test on this strategy, which ended up in profit. And I was going through a losing streak. And like, I think it was like a 2.5 week span where I was
Yeah.
back testing. And I mean, I was feeling depressed and back testing. And I'm like, "Dude, this is like punching me in the face every day." And I looked down and I kid you not, I was $1,000 up from where I had started that losing streak. And it was because there was a couple wins sprinkled in here and there. And I was like, what is this? Now, I was used to much higher end. When I say higher end, I mean like higher close rate um, strategies. And what I've learned in my trading, I have been more profitable being willing to have a lower win rate than when I strived. If I was dropping below 70%, I'm like, what's wrong with me? You know?
Yeah.
But in order to do that, you have to like overmanage everything in every
Yeah.
trade. And so I wasn't allowing profits to run and I wasn't getting full 3 to 1, 3 to 4. I mean, the other day, like you went through a loss streak and then I guess we'll talk about this next video, but you ended up pulling out that 1 to 6. So I don't want to get too deep into that, but that was amazing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I just want to encourage people to like actually take this challenge. Like, well, would you recommend it? You've done it.
Oh, for sure. I think if you're at a point where your trading game isn't consistent, right? Where you're like, I have a strategy and I think I'm doing okay and I'm still collecting data. And you're just kind of back and forth. Maybe you're trading combines and you're losing accounts here and there. You're trying to figure out, maybe you even got a payout here and there, right? And you're still losing accounts and doing things like this. And you find you have kind of a boom and bust inconsistent journey, right? Which is the nature of pretty much every trader, right? I highly recommend you do this. It really opens your eyes to see what kind of game you're actually playing, and being able to step back. I would still do all my TA and look at all of my time frames and do everything while this was happening, so that I would be
Mm-hmm.
aware of my surroundings, aware of the market, aware of the internal and external liquidity draws, aware of where the major market highs and lows were, aware of everything I could, aware of gaps and things like this. But I would not let it sway my behavior, but it would give me an idea of what is happening, so that when I was done with the 50 trade challenge, I could make little edits to find, even slightly better profitability. And but at the end of the day, all you need is something that plays a probability game and that you can rely on, right? A risk management strategy that um, takes into account all three dimensions: the money, the time, and the circumstantial risk. All three of those, right? The strategy you're using needs to be very, very consistent. Just like the money you're risking, just like the time you're spending in the market, right? Because the market moves to equilibrium. The longer you spend in there, the higher probability your account just moves back to zero, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's how the market works. We all know that. You spend any amount of time in there, you're very well aware that's how it works. I mean, that's how the liquidity pools rebalance. They have to move back to equilibrium. They have to at
Yes.
some point, some way, somehow it will come back. And so, yes, I mean, I highly recommend. This has been a game changer, just opening my mind to understanding how this game works, and I think you will be blessed, and your trading game will be changed forever. I mean, I gotta say, it's all about behavior management and risk management, and this strategy allows you to reflect and develop that. So I encourage you, strongly encourage you, take the challenge and you let it change your perspective. Let it change your perspective. Don't come in here trying to make money. Come in here to try to
Yes.
change your perspective.
Oh man, that is so true. That is so true. And
Yeah.
by the way, guys, this 50 trade orb challenge, you can download the document below for free. I don't even ask you for your email. It's totally fine. It's just something you can grab and go do on your own. It's not going to be, earth-shattering profits or anything like that at first. And this is the goal, right? The goal is to train you up to bring to the surface the things that you truly struggle with. The people that I've worked with, and I guess it's because the mentors that had to bring me up, right? And I really took note and I took the time to figure out what they were challenging me to do and all the things that, I needed to change. And this orb challenge just brings all that to the surface, whether you like it or not. So download it below. You can come into the Discord. We have a whole free section. We give away all kinds of free education, and we'll chit chat with you and talk, and that's great. Go take the Orb Challenge on your own, no problem. If you want something more than that, we do have a VIP section. Okay, the VIP section you can just pay monthly. You come in with us, and you trade almost daily with us. Like today, we're not trading. It's a bank holiday, so we're not trading today. Um,
Oh
but
yeah, but
we'll be in there with you, right? And me and Dan will be in there, talking with you about what you're processing, what you're doing, what's going on, the FOMO you're feeling, the fear, and where all that is coming from. And so, but anyways, I just wanted to, put that out there, and I really wish the best for everybody. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next video. Thank you again, Dan, for coming on.
awesome. Thank you, man.